Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader with me, Bring It On. Let's salute, level up, and leave. This guy's over here jamming out. Agonizing Splinter Pistol. Deals double toxic damage. A successful attack with this weapon increases the damage of the toxin effect suffered by a target by +1. Jin Blade of Eremeris. If the wielder deals damage to the target with his sword, to the end of combat they gain +3 bonus to the weapon skill, ballistic skill, toughness, and strength, and the target suffers a -3 penalty to those characteristics. That seems pretty good. I'm gonna pick it up. Alright, Carmine Crown. Whenever a bleeding, burning, or toxin effect inflicted by the wearer deals damage to an enemy, the enemy suffers a -5% armor penalty against only the wearer's attacks, and the wearer gains +5% critical hit chance against them. Stacks. Warlord's Amulet. Grants +4% dodge to the wearer and their allies. That's all the way down there. Makai Hide Cape. Increases all incoming damage except direct damage by 1%. Shadowfield. At the beginning of the combat, the wearer gains the Shadowfield effect. While under this effect, the wearer counts as being in full cover against all ranged attacks. The effect is lost when the wearer is hit by a ranged attack and suffers damage from it. And Shadowfield, we've seen that on enemy void ships. And one of our escort ships. An eerie and unfathomable haze obscures the vessel. Enemies suffer a -25% penalty to hit chance when attacking from within a 2-cell range, and a -75% penalty to hit chance when attacking from outside that range. The field is removed upon firing and has a chance to be re-engaged at the start of the ship's turn. So potentially a lot of good stuff for our buddy. Yeah, we're going to swap that out. Life Sunder. I don't think we've read this. Attacks with Life Sunder grant +50% to overpenetration. I mean, as good as that is, I do like the two-handed weapon on him instead. So here's what we'll do. One stack of melting. Give that to, what's her face? In fact, yeah, I need to keep some of this stuff for Jai. Oops, keep hitting the wrong key.
Is there money to be made?
A gloomy landscape appears before your eyes. Alright, we'll level up before we get to the Webway. Alright, so Carouse and Coercion. Full Attention seems pretty good. Not sure if that's what I'm going to go with yet. Invincibility seems good as well. I like this too. Lethal Threat. Enemies hit by the character with a melee attack must pass a willpower resistance test or make the character their priority target until the start of the character's next turn. Demolition and awareness. I think that's his other priority, right? Or Imperium makes sense too. Might grab that. He should be an expert on the Lex Imperialis, so. Eager for Battle seems pretty good. During the first turn of combat, the character has +2 additional action points. Won't knock that. Let's see, he has Athletics, and I guess Commerce. He is our Seneschal. That might be worth it, because he has that heal effect. If he has temporary wounds at the start of his next turn, he gains health back. We gave him flesh wounds, so let's do... Yeah, Relentless. Whenever the character is healed, they regain plus 45% more wounds. Lore Xenos and Lore Warp. Critical Velocity. The character's critical hit chance and critical damage are increased by 5% of their dodge. I don't know about the dodge. How much is this actually going to end up being? It says 0. I think he unequipped his shield again when I used the this Sword of Faith. A tipping point. The character's dodge reduction and armor penetration are increased by 10% of their critical hit chance. I'll take that. We also need to re-equip his shield. I don't like that this unequips it. It's a one-handed weapon. That makes no sense. That it would unequip it. In my opinion. Athletics, I guess. And... yeah, Crushing Assault. The character's first melee attack each round deals an additional +2 damage for every cell between the character's current position and the spot where they started their turn. The distance is measured in a direct line, ignoring all terrain, with every second diagonal cell counting as 2. Awareness and probably Lore Xenos. Yeah, that'll work. Deadly Aim. If the character's dodge reduction is higher than the enemy's dodge before applying the heavy 0.75 or medium 0.5 armor penalty modifier, the character's damage against that enemy is increased by +1% for every 5% difference between the character's dodge reduction and the enemy's dodge. Works for me. Works for me. Then we also have these other new items. I'm fine with inflicting bleeding on everybody. This is probably better. Either lethality. This might be better on Cabela. I hardly ever use stalwart defense. Maybe I should. I don't really care about being immobilized. Let's swap that out. I have that ring somewhere. I don't use persuasion either, which is kind of against my standard builds.
I always have a backup plan.
I mean, coercion is kind of a persuasion.
With the physical horrors of Camorra behind them, a long and arduous journey, possible only with the help of a Xenos guide, lay ahead for the rogue trader and his party. From one strange destination to the next, through unknowable environments, the mere sight of which could drive one to madness. Despite the challenges, they managed to escape the labyrinthian Webway and find their way back home.
Muaran's silhouette emerges from the dense foliage without disturbing a single blade of grass. He addresses you in an accusatory tone of dissatisfaction. I sense your mind, Monkai. Why are you skulking by the Webway gate? Why have you come to the Leviathan in secret? Do you intend ill for us? Muaran's eyes shift from Iliad to Marizai, from Marizai to Eklundil, then back to Iliad again. He exclaims indignantly, "By Assyrian's grace, what is the meaning of this strange visit?" Warm greetings to you as well. You're almost as hospitable as the Dark City. My people are not welcoming of spies and infiltrators. Muaran peers at you, then says thoughtfully, "However, you, Monkai, did not come here to spy on the Webway Gate. You came through it. I can sense its energy lingering on you now. This changes many things." Muaran's gaze bores into Iliad for a few moments in tense silence, as he considers something in his mind. At last, he says in a commanding tone, "Your arrival is sudden, outcast Iliad, but perhaps there is purpose behind it. You will serve your people shortly. Do you know anything about my abduction? The news of your disappearance has not reached Yanis. My guess is that your close servants decided to conceal this event, so as to not beget fear. You said Iliad would serve the Heydari once more. Are you seeking to use her again?" Muaran grimaces contemptuously. A Monkai cannot comprehend the depth of the tragedy that befell our home, our Frutarok. The duty of every child of Assyrian is to do all they can to quell the pain of that loss, and Iliad the Outcast is no exception. Unlike you, Muaran. Yeah, Muaran? How was I saying it? Muaran. I was able to find the truth. The truth of Frutarok's doom was revealed to me, even though that required me to throw myself in the Dark City's deadly embrace. Iliad frowns and looks defiantly into the Farseer's eyes. Is the fire of our souls not better directed toward worthy deeds than arguing with our kin? Eklundil waves his hands in the air, making several gestures of unknown meaning. Muaran and Iliad fall into cowed silence. I can see that something is troubling your delicate heart, my kinsman Muaran. Share your feelings with me and the Outcast then, and I'll reveal the truth of Frutarok's fate to you a little later. We do not spend our time on the Leviathan in fruitless grief. On the contrary, Our lost kin have answered my call, and are now pleading for help. Driven by revenge, they set out to pursue the one responsible for Krudarok's rueful demise, only to end up as captives on a Monkai world. Her emerald green gaze turns to you, and rests on you a little longer than usual. Dare I hope that you'll lend me a shoulder to lean on again, Owlcat. What world is it? That I know not. All that my vision showed me was an infinitely green sea, a living sea, and the maddening thirst of a hunter who is pursuing the children of Assyrian. Outcast, your path is taking you toward the stars again. Find our kin, and do not let them perish. Elliot nods silently and leaves it at that, as if she is less interested in Muaran's words than in your reaction. I'll help you find your kin. Elliot breathes out and almost inaudibly, and her shoulders relax. And I'm grateful to you, Owlcat. How are things on Yanis? The Leviathan has been charitable to the Monkai. She bestows special gifts upon some of your servants. She forges bonds with them. This is the first time I've seen our world so tolerant of your kind. It reminds me just how much I still do not understand. Alas, your kin do not trouble themselves with contemplating this matter. They fear those gifted by the Leviathan. They despise them and seek to kill them. And that does not surprise me at all. Excuse me. Muaran's voice grows pensive. The Leviathan slumbers restless. She has guarded a part of herself away from you. This is what the Monkai call the isolated region. At first, I thought it was the Leviathan's attempt to push you away, so she could heal from the wounds your cold iron had inflicted upon her flesh, but I see something else is transpiring. A mystery. Your kinsman Eklundil helped us escape from Camorra. Muaran exchanges long looks with Eklundil and says gravely, "This is where Eklundil's path and yours diverge, Monkai. He will stay with us when you leave." Eklundil nods. I'm elated to be once more among those with whom I shared Krudarok's time of bloom, Muaran. Of course. Good luck, Eklundil. Thank you, Owlcat. Iridescent haze momentarily clouds the world around you. That moment is all it takes for Muaran to hide Eklundil behind the veil of his xeno-sorcery. We'll speak of my kin's fate no longer. All that was meant to be said has been said. We'll send instructions to our Monkai serve allies to provide you with means of transportation. Farewell, Monkai. I'm pleased that our meeting did not spill blood into the Leviathan's womb. The high-ranking officer is beamed with genuine happiness. Denrock steps forward and solemnly says, "Welcome to the bridge, Lord Captain. Like the rest of the crew, we're overjoyed by your return and thank the Emperor for it." The crew stares in awe and terror at the giant towering over the crowd. Some make the sign of the Aquila on their chests. Others collapse to their knees with a prayer to the God Emperor on their lips. This wave of pious shock does not seem to discompose Ulfar in the slightest. He just chuckles into his beard and glances around curiously. Mirzai's presence alone is enough to elicit gasps of dismay and whispers from the crowd. The Drukhar ignores all Monkai reactions to his person and surveys the ship's bridge, examining every detail with ostentatiously cool interest. His markedly casual posture is belied by the subtle and unusual tension in his body. "Shireen, light of my eyes, I'm overjoyed to see you among us once more. Truly, the Exalted One is merciful for showing you the way back home. I hope all the Ashmags who left us to languish without our Lord Captain have already become food for the warp demons." The decks overflow with dazzling shades of yellow as the crew welcomes its lord, and I join them in this greeting. "Lord Captain, I'm so glad to see you. I nearly lost it when you up and disappeared on me. I was getting by on stimulants and recaf, I barely slept. Also, I could keep listening to the whispers for any clue on how to find you. The only other time I felt so powerless is when Lady Theodora... She stops. Pardon me, Lord Captain. I'm talking nonsense. Sister Argenta greets you with burning eyes. Welcome back, rogue trader. No trial can break the will of the Emperor's chosen, or stop him from returning to those who have put their hopes in him. Pascal offers you a respectful bow. The return of the Master of the Temple is an event honored by every spirit that dwells within the sacred systems and machines of this abode. First off, how much do you know about my abduction? Not much, Lord Captain. All contact with your party was lost shortly after the supposed pirates boarded the ship and abducted your companion's kinspeople. We immediately sent shuttles with boarding parties to your aid, but we didn't find anyone on the ship save for the crew, all of whom had either been butchered or driven insane. Elik's expression is inscrutable, but her eyes are fixed on you and you alone. Since your lordship's body was never recovered, we hoped against hope that you were still alive. Alas, even our most alert auger operators never spotted anything suspicious, and thus our ignominious failure put you in dire peril. Dare we inquire what happened to your lordship? It does not matter. The topic of my disappearance is closed. As you command, Lord Captain. Where's my ship been all this time? The Officers' Council decided to take the ship to Footfall, where one can hear the gossip of the entire expanse. Our agents tirelessly searched for information about your lordship, and we heard even a whisper of where you were imprisoned, would have immediately launched a rescue expedition. While you were absent, Lord Captain, we made every effort to find you. That resulted in a number of modifications to the ship that have significantly upgraded it. Thanks to a favorable deal secured by the esteemed High Factotum, the ship is now equipped with state-of-the-art auger systems and direction finders from Calva Gamma. There's quite enough fawning and fussing. I wish to return to my duties immediately. Denmark throws up his hands. But the crew is overcome with joy and gratitude to the God Emperor. Nonetheless, your will is absolute. Factotum smacks his lips awkwardly and adds in a quieter voice. Lord Captain, the senior officers will report to you shortly. In your absence, we received a number of astropathic messages and dispatches that demand your attention. The group of servitors suddenly stirs, the movements frighteningly identical even for automatons. They stare at you and say in perfect unison, Hello, Nemos have come to welcome you back. We sense that a great deed has been done, a vivid imprint on existence. You did something very important. What was it? I escaped from a dark city of the Xenos and showed them mercy. It suits you. What we see in you, light and connections without the urge to destroy. Did Nemo say it correctly? The servitor chorus, which sounds a single voice, falls silent. Nemos appears to be waiting for your response, in eager anticipation. I'm glad that you're learning to understand me, Nomos. After a long pause, the servitor chorus responds with unexpected forcefulness. Nomos are glad too. We must go now. We'll come to speak with you later. Another pause follows, so long that the silence becomes more piercing than a scream. Then the servitors finally break it. We felt sadness when we could no longer communicate with you, and we were worried about your fate. One can detect with the naked eye the moment when Nomos leaves the bridge. The servitors stop moving in sync, and slowly shuffle off to their posts. Your Lordship, you must report highly compromising information about a member of your retinue, namely Mistress Jae Heydari, who it turns out is nothing of the sort but a commoner, a fugitive from the law, and a deserter from the Imperial Guard. I have solid evidence to prove it. This evidence had better be incontrovertible. In fact, Tatum bows and holds out a data slate to you. It is all here, Your Lordship. Official records from the Administratum, attestations from the Departamento Minutorum, and much more besides. I want to know the details. I may have overlooked some nuances, but I have solid evidence that the person whom we presently know as Jae Heydari served in the 19th Efreet Regiment, was identified as the perpetrator of numerous instances of theft and smuggling, as well as desertion. And this individual is not of noble birth, but of the lowest origins. How did you come to know of this? In your lordship's absence, the burden of watching over the dynasty's treasury fell upon my shoulders. I deemed Jae Heydari the likeliest threat to the dynasty's material security. I had my people conduct an investigation, and they uncovered a past connection between Heydari and an individual by the name of Mercy, a highly influential figure in the Casbalica mission with a dangerous reputation. Fearing that the predatory interests of the Casbalica would pose a threat to your coffers, I began my own investigation. It was entirely reasonable to suspect collusion of some kind between Heydari and Mercy, so my suspicions were confirmed. The two were connected. It was from Mercy's associates that I acquired the compromising intelligence on Heydari. I wish to see Jae Heydari. We have something to discuss. Shot me, did you? You little wannabe quester? Jai's voice and bearing undergo a stark transformation. Fighting soldier slang cuts through her typically gentle speech. Don't miss a thing, your servants, Donnie Dawson. They're sneaky as too. They climb up a Grox's butt to find out what they want to know. I think we need to talk about your past. Only if the scum slings his hook. Jai nods at the now much paler Danrock.
Well, your lordship, ask away. I'll tell it like it is. I'm not going to try to wriggle out of it.
With a wary sigh, Jai gives you a hard stare. So, tell me your real story.
So what do you want to hear, Shireen? A children's tale about a beautiful princess? A ballad about a queen of thieves? How about a new story, Shireen? Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived on a sand-covered lump of rock. And the core of that rock contained untold riches for servants of the Imperium. The girl scraped out those riches with her little hands, breaking her back and coughing up her lungs, on behalf of people who had never clapped eyes upon her, and who would never know her name. She did this every day until she turned 16, and then...
Jai cringes at her own words, and with all the crudeness of a veteran soldier spits on the floor.
Then his servants came and drafted the girl into the 19th Ifrit Regiment. Can you imagine? Of course, the regiment was wiped out on its first sortie. But the girl survived. The Exalted One protects. So what was next? Years serving in the Astra Militarum, just a shitload of hard labor, and fighting, and deals, and shady connections, and new opportunities.
Jai closes her eyes, letting the memories carry her back through the years.
But everything in this world ends sooner or later, Shireen. The now not-so-little girl went and fell in with the Casbalica. She saved up a little gold, and she even indulged in excess from time to time. Until living the good life almost cost the little girl her head after her patrons got caught in an internal investigation between the Officio Prefectus and Departamento Munitorum. So the girl ran as fast as her little legs could carry her, until her eyes and the beams of fortune brought her to the expanse. A shitty story, all things considered, Shireen.
I knew you were no princess.
Oh, really, Shireen? And there I thought you were quite ready to believe my time-honed thespian performance.
You have a family.
The folks on Footfall are my only family, Shireen. The trickster twins and the rest of the rabble, plain-talking and loyal as dogs. And sometimes as dull as the pommel of a worn-out blade.
Jai gives an indifferent shrug. So you used to be in the Imperial Guard.
Corporal Heydari reporting for duty, sir. I've had enough of the Astra Militarum shit to last a lifetime, Shireen. And my body's collected enough souvenirs from run-ins with Xenos and heretics to last 2 lifetimes. Except, when it comes to the Guard, there's no such thing as used to be. That wretched life sank its claws into me good. But that also means I remember what it's like to be a small, shaking, insignificant pawn. And that's why I appreciate what I have now all the more.
Jai salutes you, but the silly play acting only sours her mood. How'd you get involved with the Casbalica?
What? You think it's difficult? Once me and my fellow guardsmen snuck into the upper city in search of a good watering hole, where the high and mighty of that world congregated. Another time, our regiment was sent to defend the tallest spires on a hive world, and I had an epiphany. I saw how the other half lives, and by half, I mean the ones born with a diamond spoon in their mouth, instead of an entrenching shovel rammed up their arse. My eyes were open to the truth, Shireen. The Imperium is full of opportunities, even for people like myself. The trick is knowing whose palms to grease, whose boots to lick, whose throat to squeeze, and whose arses to kick. I was very popular with everyone in the guard command, you see. I'd procure things for them, whatever they wanted. And so the Casbalica took notice.
So you're a deserter as well?
You know, Shireen, I could still be bouncing around from one world to another, holed up on tired old ships with only venal grunts for company, if I hadn't decided I wanted more for my life. I accepted a shipment from the Casbalica of certain chemicals. You know, for carnal pleasures and the like. Some bigwig was throwing a party to celebrate his 5th decade in the service. And that's when I caught the attention of the newly arrived commissar. I was rummaging through the pockets of Astra Militarum with one hand, and shoveling the Casbalican cargo with the other. You can imagine what would have happened to my head had the commissar not started with my higher-ranked patrons.
Jai draws a thumb across her metallic throat, chuckles bitterly. That explains the lung implant, but what about the hand?
It was orcs. Not everything I say is a lie, Shireen.
Jai makes a frustrated gesture. I see.
Whoop the Never mind.
Who is this Mercy that Denrock is accused you of associating with?
We knew each other once. He helped me make the move to the Expanse and establish my first connections. But that's an old story I prefer not to poke at if I can help it. Things are good in my life now, and I don't need mercy.
About your new persona.
Are you worried I'm going to start spitting on the deck and shriveling your officers' ears with my foul tongue? Don't be, Shireen. I much prefer being seen as a princess rather than a deserter. I'll continue to play the part in front of the others, but you wanted to talk frankly, so I've dropped the act.
I think we've covered everything. Return to your duties.
Sir, yes, sir. Your lordship, Shireen. I'll be here, all primed and ready to go.
Jai's lips curve into a faint smile now that the seal of silence that has shackled them for years has finally been broken. Hard time reading today, and there's a lot of reading to do. Denrock adjusts his jacket before addressing you. Now then, Lord Captain, shall we get to business? We have a number of items to go over. First and foremost, I have news about your subjects. In the time that you were gone, the servants of House Von Valancius have toiled tirelessly in their service to you and for the benefit of the entire Trade Protectorate. Once word of your return reaches every Von Valancius world, why, the masses will be ecstatic. Never before has the Expanse known a leader as merciful as you. The fanatics of the Creed may whisper out the heresies of the mind burgeoning under your rule, but your benevolence has forever captured the souls of millions of ordinary subjects. The Expanse is in flames, your lordship. Squadrons and smaller groups of despicable Drukhari raid our systems. The cult of the Final Dawn has emerged in full force, wreaking havoc everywhere. I've heard rumors of the fall of Santiel's pride, House Corda's world, an outrageous sacrilege, given how abundant and expensive Promethium is there. Strife has broken out between House Winterscale and House Corda. Chaos reigns everywhere. Only the esteemed Lord Inquisitor is trying to fight it, concentrating all available forces at footfall to draw them into a fist, they'll smash the rampaging heretics and Xenos vermin. What kind of Xenos are attacking the Expanse? Drukhari, your lordship. Their squadrons, both large and small, are invading the Expanse, unleashing carnage on planets, taking captives by the thousands, and attacking ships. It is as if something has poked their nest, if you will, and now they are lashing out. How fare the worlds of my dynasty? The heretics' malicious acts make it difficult to maintain astropathic contact with the colonies. The cult of the Final Dawn strikes everywhere, and the sleeper agents are active on every planet. On Vibo 6, immunity was crushed after a group of newly arrived prisoners succumbed to blasphemous propaganda. Let the world stand firm against the onslaught of the enemies of humanity, and do not succumb to their pernicious influence. So Xavier Calcazar is leading the defense. Exactly. The esteemed Lord Inquisitor Calcazar has declared himself Warden of the Cronus Expanse, and issued orders to requisition troops. He has made Footfall his base of operations, as it was the most logistically convenient point. From there, his fleet strikes throughout the Expanse, destroying the forces of the Cult of the Final Dawn and the abominable Drukhari. He may be all that currently stands in the way of the Expanse being reduced to ashes. When heretics laid siege to Euphrates II, the hollowed forge of the Connaissance fleet, the Lord Inquisitor sent an enormous force. Now they and the Explorer squadrons were called from the front line to stand together against the heretics in the battle for the sacred planet. What was the source of the strife between Incendia and Caligos? When the esteemed Lord Inquisitor called upon the rogue traders to join his forces, her ladyship Incendia Corda heeded the summons, while his lordship Caligos Winterscale ignored it. Rumor has it that his refusal was defiant in manner, and served as a pretext for Lady Corda to declare war on House Winterscale. Winterscale's ships are being hunted, and his worlds occupied under the pretense of compelling them to submit to the Imperial Creed. Surprisingly, for all of his love of fighting, Winterscale is in no hurry to defend his domain. According to two intercepted astropathic messages, he and his retinue are currently on Ketsa Tamer, hunting down a Xenos fleet, Eldari by all appearances, which is where the Farseer wanted us to go. Is there anything else I should know? I have good news to share as well. The Heartless is fully repaired. Its hull has been considerably reinforced, and after a complete cycle of tech litanies, the fighter craft and its hangars now eagerly await the chance to show their worth in battle. Factetum lowers his head in thought. There have been other minor developments. If you so wish, I'll gladly bring you up to speed on the bridge. I don't want them to take any time away from this occasion. Thank you for the report. Lord Captain, Abelard bows his head. Allow me to make a request. A personal one. While you're away, the Choirmaster received an astropathic message from Dargonis. It concerns my family. The Viserians have been accused of treason against House von Valancius. What? How is that possible? I cannot comprehend it. The Seneschal shakes his head helplessly. The Viserians have served the Rogue Trader dynasty loyally for generations. This is hard to admit, but the news has come as a crushing blow. The accusations were leveled by, or on behalf of, the Drivestems, the governing house. Under normal circumstances, the investigation would not have required your involvement. My entire family would have been... But being of noble stock, the Viserians are entitled under an ancient custom to petition for a Rogue Trader's personal protection once in a generation. Your personal protection, Lord Captain. Abelard raises his gaze to you. Do not deny us that honor, I implore you. Abelard, what if your family is guilty? Then the traitors will accept their due punishment. I've never relied on my position as an immunity guarantee. I'll not even try to sway your decision, as long as it is fair and balanced. Tell the Choirmaster to send a message to Dargonis, saying I'll personally take part in the investigation. Abelard breathes a sigh of relief and seems to grow an inch or two taller. It will be done, Lord Captain. Idira hurriedly enters the study, sniffling and hunching her shoulders. She looks haggard. There are bags under her eyes. Her hair is disheveled. Her hands quiver slightly every few moments. With some effort, she focuses her eyes on you and forces a crooked smile. Thank you for agreeing to hear me out, Lord Captain. Here's the deal. After all that happened recently, the voices in my head suddenly flared up and started gabbling worse than before. Don't get the wrong idea. I'm handling them just fine. But I think I know of a way to get them to settle down a bit. I keep having the same vision over and over again. I'm walking down a corridor, and there's this door at the end. And I just know that right behind that door is blissful silence. All I've got to do is reach out and open it. So I touch it with my fingers. I can feel the cold, rough metal. And then I suddenly snap out of it, and always find myself staring at a wall in some compartment or other. I look behind me, and all the doors on the way are open, but I have no memory of how I got there. Lord Captain, I'll cut to the chase. Please help me find that door. I'm not joking. This is a matter of life and death. My gut tells me it's my last chance to deal with my powers, and if I don't, he trails off. Before I make my decision, I have questions to ask you. Absolutely, Lord Captain. Ask me anything. I'll try my best to answer. What do you think is behind the door? I have no idea. Maybe it's some incredible implant from the Tech Priest's secret stores, or I don't know, a serum kept in the Inquisition's vault. There's such a thing as archaeotech, right? Plenty of it lying around. Maybe some of it could help me. Idira is trying to maintain a facade of confidence, while simultaneously pulling out a hangnail so hard her fingers begin to bleed. Do your visions contain any clues on where to start looking? Vague ones as usual. I think I can hear the muffled cries of some weird birds. My head is sweating like it's somewhere hot. I'm surrounded by rockcrete, the everyday Imperium stuff, except it reeks of burnt flesh, fried cables, and chemicals. Sorry, that's about it. Nothing more concrete. But I think if we get close enough, I'll sense it immediately. Is the door you describe similar to the door your whispers come from? No. Well, I don't know. It feels different. The one from the visions feels very, I don't know, real? I can even touch it. It's definitely not an illusion. It really does exist somewhere. And trust me, none of us wants to open that other door, the whispering one. I find it difficult to believe that suppressing your abilities is safe. Idira snorts. Oh, it's really not. I'm sure you've heard stories about how people tried to lock Psyker's abilities away for good, and how those Psykers would then eventually go insane and explode into little pieces. But if there's a way, no, not to shut my door completely, but to make it so a tiny little crack remains, now that's a different story. I can just feel it. If we find this thing, whatever it is, it'll be alright. What if it's a trap? No way. It can't be. Whatever. I'll go in alone if you like. Just please help me get there. I have no more questions. Idira nods and looks at you anxiously. We will find this door. I give you my word. Some of the darkness in Idira's eyes clears, and her smile widens slightly. Thank you, Lord Captain. I knew you wouldn't leave me in a bind. As soon as I sense we're close, I'll let you know right away. Oh my gosh. The Exalted One bless the house of Von Valancius for your largesse of spirit, Shireen, and thank you for deigning to speak with me. Jai turns unusually hesitant, now tentatively choosing the words that only a moment ago rolled off her tongue in an uninterrupted cascade. Here's the thing, Shireen. My network of trade representatives has been stretched a little too thin recently, like a chiffon dress on a whore. Supplies are all over the place. Orders aren't being filled, clients are kicking off, and not without reason, and revenue's plummeting. That wasn't bad enough. My guys running things for Footfall have been incommunicado recently, and an astropathic message has finally come in to tell me why. Some Ashmag or Ashmags, Drone Smite them, has captured my gang. And they're threatening to kill every last one of those hard-grafting whelps if I don't do what they want. And they only want one thing, my Mercatum Tabula Officiale, or Official, in exchange for my gang's lives. Jai tosses her thick mane of hair and grits her teeth, looking more vicious than you've ever seen her. But I'm not giving up my certificate for anything, and nor am I going to leave my guys high and dry. That's why I came begging for your help and protection, Shireen. If I have to step into a cage of hyenas, I'd rather do it with a lion at my side. Ptolemy did not say who sent the message. Shireen, you know yourself that all this astropathic chit-chat is nothing but a stream of images, thoughts, intentions. Nothing concrete. I don't need the name of the sender. I already know it. I can smell Falco's stench all over this. Or else it's Vladame's doing. This is just that darn Ashmag style. Aji take him. It could be a bluff. It could, Shireen. I've been missing the familiar stench of the docks and darling Octi and her bar. Even the stony gaze of the Exalted One that watches over you wherever you are on footfall. I'm homesick, you see. The tender smile vanishes from Jai's face, leaving a nakedly bleak expression behind. The Exalted One helps those who help themselves, Shireen. I don't want to risk the lives of my people. Why should I help you? It seems you've reached the limit of your abilities. If the intoxicating feeling of your own magnanimity isn't enthralling enough, Shireen, I'll remind you of more mundane but no less significant concerns. My network of cold traders is falling apart because someone threw a spanner in my well-oiled machine, and then a few more for good measure. If we do not remove these obstructions, the network will not recover, and all the resources and effort you have invested in my business will have gone down the drain. When we reach Footfall, I'll help your associates. I look forward to that day, Shireen, and praise be to the Exalted One for bestowing such a miserly portion of haughty indifference upon your heart. Jeez Louise. Donnie Dawson. Heinrich gives you a curt nod in greeting. I apologize for barging in unannounced. I've received news that I must discuss with you face to face. You may recall that I mentioned that Achilles... Heinrich pauses before continuing. That Achilles Galander was transferred into my remit by a colleague. The colleague in question has contacted me. She requires my immediate assistance. Who is this colleague? Heinrich hesitates for a moment before answering. Emelina Lichtenhart, sage to the Lord Inquisitor. Tell me more about Emelina. Who is she? An acolyte who was assigned a different range of objectives in the Cronus Expanse. Heinrich trails off, then shakes his head. Don't take me. I'm still trying to hide information from you, even when I'm asking for your help. Emelina is a sage, a unique acolyte of the Inquisition who can absorb huge amounts of knowledge and store it in her own memory more securely than any data crypt. She entered the Lord Inquisitor's retinue before even I did. Talking to her is a strange experience, but that is barely scratching the surface of who she is. Emelina is an incredible scholar, an expert on the forbidden and the illicit. And of course, she's a loyal servant of the Golden Throne. You say talking to her is a strange experience. What does that mean? Heinrich locks his fingers and says nothing for a few seconds. Since birth, Emelina has been different from other people. Specialists from the Inquisition enhance her natural gift of hypermnesia. There are certain procedures that can be done. She creates separate blocks of memory, which she can then lock under a code word or even overwrite with the new information. She can organize her mind like a normal person arranges boxes on a shelf. One box might contain information about a recent mission in the Calixis, another the latest decrees of the Lex Imperialis, and another her own childhood memories. This level of compartmentalization might seem somewhat insane to the untrained eye, but is the price one must pay to turn an ordinary servant to a useful tool of the Inquisition. Tech priests can also do that, but using technology, not psychic abilities. You said the forbidden and the illicit. What does that entail? Emelina carries knowledge that is forbidden to common servants of the Imperium. She carries this knowledge within herself, as it cannot be entrusted to logs or cogitators. Heinrich frowns. I said before that acolytes of the Inquisition must shoulder a heavy burden, to come into contact with things that can penetrate and corrupt the soul. For sages, this is an especially trying ordeal. Emelina's hypermnesia has been enhanced so that she now remembers everything she sees, however briefly. After many years of service, she's examined and seen enough to become an unrivaled expert in this field. You speak of her with obvious affection. Heinrich gives you a crooked smile. Emelina was something of a mentor to me. She helped me when I had only just joined the Lord Inquisitor's circle. She taught me psi techniques to maintain my focus and equanimity. She trained me in the finer details of working with archives and data crypts. She gave me the chance to unwind a little on my post by playing games of Regicide with her. Your influence has made Heinrich more merciful. You failed to mention that Calquasar has other agents operating in the Cronus Expanse. I didn't fail to mention it. I deliberately concealed the information. Divulging the location of the Inquisition's agents could threaten not only the acolytes themselves, but also the results of their endeavors. I believe I have a clear picture of Emelina now. What was her message? Emelina's message is incomplete and distorted. It is impossible to make sense of every word. The only thing we know for certain is that an acolyte of the Inquisition is asking me to go immediately to Baton 4, a remote planet. In her message, she seems to be requesting either military support or help with an evacuation. But whatever precipitated this request, Emelina would not make it if it weren't absolutely necessary. I know a rogue trader has more than enough other matters to deal with. Nevertheless, I'd like to officially request the Lord Captain's assistance in dealing with this issue. Heinrich inclines his head. I have no authority to demand anything from House von Valancius. Therefore, I'm confining myself to a request, for the sake of the Kronos Expanse and the Imperium. How did you circumvent me and acquire the information from the astropathic message? The interrogator's eyebrows lift. Lord Captain, a rogue trader may be in a position to challenge the Inquisition's authority over their soul, mind, and actions. But rogue traders, astropaths, and Vox officers? Hardly. Is there any hint of what exactly is threatening Phaeton 4? Heinrich says nothing for a time, then begins to speak, slowly, as though he's fighting against resistance. For the avoidance of leaks, the details of the objectives of specific acolytes shall remain a secret. All I can tell you is that the primary threat that Emelina was dealing with in the Kronos Expanse was Xenos. In particular, Drukhari raids on distant systems. A sage is ideally suited for gathering data about the chronology of this problem and finding appropriate methods for combating it. As for what Emelina is doing on Phaeton 4 specifically, I don't know. I don't even know any details about the world itself. Only that there are humans there, so either it has been colonized or a garrison has been established there. The Cult of the Final Dawn has been my top priority here, and my investigation has given me no cause to turn my attention to that planet. If I help you, what do I get out of it? Saving an inhabited world is not sufficient incentive for you. Heinrich's tuts in disappointment. I imagine the planet's inhabitants would be willing to part with all their worldly possessions in exchange for aid. Of course, you will receive whatever requisitioned resources I and Emelina deem not to be dangerous or prohibited by the Holy Inquisition. Are you certain that you're asking for my help for the sake of the Imperium, and not because one of your own is in trouble? Every agent of the Golden Throne is an insignificant cog in a system designed to protect the Imperium of man. My responsibility to respond expeditiously to threats against our kind guides my every action. Heinrich pauses. That same responsibility rarely brings with it the chance to save a fellow agent's life. I will not lie and say that I am not glad to have this chance today. I shall help you. We shall go to Phaeton 4 and put an end to this threat. Heinrich bows. Thank you, Lord Captain. I'm confident that this minor deviation from our primary course will help to stem the spread of anarchy in the Kronos Expanse. If only slightly. At the very least, we won't be outflanked. I've already spoken to the navigation crew, provided them with the coordinates of Phaeton 4. We set a course for it as soon as you give the order. Oh, come on. My voice isn't holding up. Enough Xenos. Justice will be done, one way or another. Heinrich's voice drips with venom. Slither all you like, heretic spawn, but you never leave this ship unscathed. The bridge is enveloped in an unusual silence. The officers on duty are huddling in the corners, looking on curiously at what is transpiring in the center. What is going on? Catching sight of you, the curious crew members dash to their posts, leaving only the senior officers in the middle of the bridge. For how long are you going to tolerate this filth in your ship, Donnie Dawson? This foul traitor, who has already dragged you into the darkness once, and almost left your protectorate without its sovereign. Rogue traitor. Heinrich's voice makes your blood run cold. Has Eldari heresy clouded your judgment? Treachery always means death, either for the traitor or the one betrayed. You almost died in Camorra. Your retinue, you know what became of them. Is it not high time that justice was done? Those present nod wordlessly, but do not dare to interfere. Now this is a fine spectacle. The Inhuman gets what she deserves. Let us all watch and laugh. Your wonderful path has led you into a rather thorny situation, cousin. You refused to beg for mercy in Camorra. Now you have to lick the boots of Atmankai. Silent Xenos. Your turn will come. Elliot does not react to the curses being slung at her. With an imperturbable expression, she watches the crowd before her, then turns her gaze to you. Anyone else want to share their thoughts? You know, Lord Captain, I'll support any order you give, but to keep the Xenos in the retinue, especially after everything. Abelard casts a tense look at the lower bridge. After everything that has transpired because of her, it would not be wise. Bill Elliot does not deserve death. For her, it'd be a release from her sorrowful lot of being an unclean Xenos. Murderous rage flashes in Cabela's black eyes. But we do deserve her death, as payment for what we have endured. She serves as a clear example that the great powers bestowed by the warrant must also be used with great caution. That is the end of her usefulness. Elliot blankly surveys the crowd. I think you may have forgotten who gives the orders on this ship. How dare you burst onto the bridge and make demands of me? Heinrich narrows his eyes, disappointed. Deplorable indulgence of the enemies of humanity, rogue traitor, and of your own weak will. One who points out a mistake shall be rewarded for the truth. If you do not wish to see the truth, remain among the blind. Everyone present timidly averts their eyes. Speaking up against you defiantly was not part of the plan. Are you alright? Elliot shrugs uncertainly. Your Mankai have had it worse. I will live, and the wounds of my soul will eventually heal. They will live too, but their souls will forever bleed painful memories. You really not care about what happened? Or are you trying to consider your true feelings again? I am sorry that my mistake led anyone along the paths of the Dark City. I can see their pain and rage. I understand. But words and pity will not help them. Only time and perhaps revenge, which will dull their pain for a little while. But you have taken away their chance for revenge, Elentok, and all we can do now is wait. They will forgive you. Not all of them, and not right away, but they will. Stop it. You cannot believe that, Elentok. I do not need words of comfort. The words of these Mankai do not touch my soul. Only your thoughts matter. Yours and mine. It is time to get back to work. Elliot nods and gestures elegantly before leaving. Until we meet again, Elentok. May the darkness scatter into a myriad of new stars before you. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. I'm going to call it here, and next time we will do some housekeeping. And go from there. But for now, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.